Hey everybody, it's DJ with Mad Media TV, where we highlight the most inspiring people and their stories. I want to reintroduce you to Sensei Jeff Hunt, founder of his traditional Shotokan karate and kickboxing school. Now, in this part 2 of his spotlight, we are going to highlight his life story, milestones, and the lives that he's been changing over many, many years. So be sure to stick around because on this upcoming segment, it's about to get real. So get your tissues ready. With all your success that you've had in starting the school and then also just, having that, very inspirational impact on these kids and even the adults, the parents, was there ever, if you can think of, a moment, a very challenging moment where you felt like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Did you ever feel any sort of doubt in you when it came to either, reaching out to the kids or even adults when they came to the school? Was there ever a time you were like, can I get through to this person? How can I?
I have success stories and I have sad stories. I got a kid real close. He was a straight A student and he got caught up across the street and he ended up becoming a pothead, a junkie, and it was sad because he was always a straight A student. And after the years that passed, the mother would pass by, you see the pain on her face, the pain. And he's somewhat stable now, but this kid had so much promise. To be here for such a long time on the boulevard, you see good things, you see not so good things. There was once a kid, I don't want to mention his name, and he was hard. He was hard, and I dealt with him very assertively because one day he did something really, really dangerous to another kid. They were doing a drill, and he was behind the kid, and he purposely kicked the kid in the head. Oh. Had to grab him off the floor, take him in the back, and said, "What are you doing?" And he respected me. He was a great kid, great smile. The mother was a nurse, and she worked nights, so the grandmother was taking care of him. And I noticed that he was coming in with these colors all the time. And I was a gang liaison officer. I went to training. I was a gang officer in my precinct. And I saw the colors and I said, "You part of the family?" He says, "No." So one day I said, "Let me see a notebook." Because different gangs write alphabets, so they do different things. And I saw something. And with the colors every day he was wearing. So one day I called the mother and I said, "You should really consider working in the mornings, not the nights, because I think he's getting involved in a gang." And I never forgot these words. She sucked her teeth, "Cha, you now know I talk boat." That's how she responded to me. It's all right. About 6 months after, he got killed.
Oh my gosh.
He got killed, and he was doing a robbery with the gang members on Linden Boulevard. And a friend of mine was a detective in the 105 at the time. He said, "Jeff, I never seen nothing like it." She came inside the precinct screaming and cursing. And we said, "Come on, come upstairs." And they pushed the tape. And they watched her son and 6 other boys jump on another boy to rob him of his sidekick. And they're beating on this kid because the kid didn't want to let it go. And finally they get it from the kid. The kid jumps up off the floor, draws a weapon, pow, shoots him right in the chest. And you see him running and just collapsing. She said, "Jeff, the minute she saw that video, she wasn't even in the precinct for 5 minutes. She walked right back out." And I didn't even know about the funeral. The other kids told me. She didn't even call me and tell me. And the kid was like 15 years old, 16 years old. And he was a beautiful kid. I have another kid that his mother was, I think, a nurse. The father was a cop. They weren't together. The mother had a best friend. They lived in Far Rockaway. She asked her to pick the kid up. She asked him to pick the kid up. They got in a car accident. Her and her son lived in there. The kid died. in a car accident. I can keep on going.
Oh my goodness.
You know, there was a girl I had after, I think she had gotten the COVID shot. She was phenomenal. She went to purple belt. She got so confident she started playing basketball. She ended up on teams. She died at 15 years old. Father, I hadn't spoken to the father in years. I can tell you about tragedies. I can tell you about sadnesses. The thing that keeps me going is when I get through to a child and the child flourishes. You know that whole statement, if you just reach one, you just reach one. And I've had opportunities to reach one for a long time. When I started teaching karate, I was working in Astoria. I would get in my car, drive over to Triborough Bridge, teach 2 classes at St. Joseph's of the Holy Family by Grant Houses, get back in the car, drive to Queens, teach 2 more classes, and go home. And there were so many different things that I learned. You know, I didn't even have children yet. And I remember this little chubby boy I used to teach. And I was teaching for 6 months, he was getting good. And all of a sudden, this big light-skinned guy comes and says, "How you doing, sir?" I said, "How you doing?" He said, I'm his father. I hadn't seen him for months. I said, I've never seen you. And he was sweating profusely and sweating. And he said, "I'm here. I'm gonna be here from now on." That was like on a Friday. Monday come, I don't see the kid. Week after, I don't see the kid. Where the kid? So one day I'm going upstairs on the second floor getting my paycheck because I was getting paid from a Jerry Lewis grant. And I see the kid. I said, "Where you been?" "Daddy died." I said, "Excuse me." "Daddy died." I said, "Excuse me?" So the mother was right there. I said, "What happened?" He said, "His father died." The next day after he met me, he died. You know, I remember the story because he was the same age as me at the time. I was 33. Wow. I never forgot. So
that's so sad.
Oh my gosh. Those different things that have transpired over the years has taught me how to be a better father, how to be a better husband, how to be a better person. I've always got it right. No, I haven't always got it right. I ain't perfect. I haven't always got it right. But I've learned a lot on the journey. Even thinking about teaching in Harlem, there was a girl, beautiful little girl. For 6 months, she'd say, she needed speech. She needed speech. Mm-hmm. When it was finally 6 months past, it was time to do a demonstration. She said, "Hi, Mr. Hunt."
Oh, look at that.
So I'm teaching, right? I got a whole auditorium of people watching me do a demonstration with these kids. I turn around and I look at the girl and I remember from where she was to where she is. I started crying and my back was facing the audience and I was crying. I couldn't control the cry. Oh. And the parent, everybody's like, "Why is he stalling? What's going on?" I was trying to get myself together before I turned around because she was doing so fantastic now. Mm-hmm. So you have so many different people, like the summertime, going across the street, people, "Yo, how you doing, Sensei? You remember me?" "Nah, I don't know who you are." And they have to break things down. Mm. Even last year, I was sweeping in the front. A guy comes with one of these Infinities, and he's boom, boom, boom. He jumps out the car. I'm with the broom. He starts running towards me. I drop the broom and pick my hands up. And he's like, no, Sensei, you don't remember me?" I said, "No." I said, "Who are you?" He said, "You told me like 15 years ago." "I don't remember you. Show me a picture." When he showed me who he was, we hugging and holding, putting our legs around each other, holding and hugging because this kid. Uh-huh. So I can tell you so much. I got a phone call from a guy a year ago. And he said, since I drove by the school and I had to say hello, "I just got out of prison. I was in prison for 7 years. And I thought about you every single day because you were trying to help me. So was my father, but I didn't listen. I didn't listen to you. I had to do 7 years in prison. And I just want to thank you for what you did." And I'm like, he started beating himself. I said, "We're not going to do that." we're gonna move on and we're gonna get it right now. Some people get it, some people don't. My job is to do my best to encourage them. That's what I do, and that's a challenge. Like I'm like some kids have taught me the real world, the real meaning of patience. Because the ones that you least expect are the ones that flourish. The ones that come in and they show these signs of being superstars, some make it, some don't. So I've learned to do my best. A week, a month, a day, a year, 5 years. Do your best.
And nobody gets special privileges. Everybody's just treated exactly like...
You can't. Because like Donovan said, when he came in, the floor is packed. Because I'm not a drop-off sensei. You can't drop your kids off and come back. It ain't that type of party with me. Because that's the type of person you are. That means you don't really care what I'm doing with your child. I don't want you in my dojo. It's just what it is. So most of the parents involved, and you hear parents that I've encouraged because they start confiding in me because of my title. Like I'm this figure, so they start sharing things with me, and I automatically go into coaching. I've been doing it all my life. I just got certified by Eric Thomas during COVID. ET is where I got my certification from, but I've been doing this a lot. So we're here to encourage each other. We're here to make each other better. That's what we're here for. And that felt some passion. And when everybody retired and they went looking for jobs, I get people calling me all the time. You want to work here? You want to work here? No, I'm good. I'm doing what I'm. I had a guy that called me. He had a big position in a state agency, and he said, Jeff, I want you to come work for me. And then he said, you know what? Your legacy's on Merrick Boulevard, bro. He stops in the middle of the sentence. He says, what you do with what you did, because I used to train him. So what you did with me, what you do with children. Jeff, ain't nobody gonna remember you for nothing else but Merrick Boulevard. That's your legacy. That's where you belong.
And we felt it today, like and I saw you getting a little emotional back there as we were hearing everybody's testimonials. Like I lost count of how many people showed up to say their testimonials. It was amazing for me and my team to see. How did it make you feel? I mean, I know you were getting a little emotional back there. You had to step away for a moment.
I cry.
You cried?
I cry. I can tell you, I've cried in front of my students. I have one student. He's in Jersey. He's very successful now with stocks and investing and things of that nature. He trained with me as a child. And one day he got jealous of another kid and he kicked the kid in the back very, very violently. He almost hurt the kid bad. Oh my goodness. I grabbed him, I swept him off the floor, and I had a conversation with him on the floor. He left the dojo. He came back to me 10 years after and said, I want to train. I said, why'd you leave? He said, because I was never disciplined by a man. You're the only man that ever disciplined me. He came back, he earned his black belt. His mother passed away of breast cancer. I had his belt for months. He didn't want to come get his belt. He didn't want to get promoted because all his mother wanted to do was see him get promoted to black belt. And he took 3 steps and crumbled on the floor and cried. I cried. Everybody cried. Because the journey that he went through and everything that transpired, all he wanted to do was let his mother see him get that black belt. So I'm telling you,
wow.
There's so many different good moments and
so many heartfelt moments, like so many.
So many success stories. I'm in Dunkin' Donuts. A guy sees me, says, Sensei, I gotta thank you for what you did with Justin. Justin was the kid that came to me in his junior year. He played football, but he wasn't assertive enough. I spent a year with him, went to purple belt. He went to school, he went back to play football. He did well, he got hurt. He ended up getting his PhD, I think at 23. He ended up becoming a school psychologist. And then he opened up his own practice 2 miles away from the school, North Carolina. It's one of those schools in North Carolina. And the father said, man, what you did, I said, give it to God. I said, we're gonna give it to God. but I know what you did with my son. When you hear stories like that, it kind of gives you a sense of purpose. What can you do now? What can you do to get those type of flowers?
It's so fulfilling. Like it must be really like very self-fulfilling to hear that
It is.
over and over again. And do you ever have students that come in? I guess like if I was a student, I feel like my first question I would ask you, what would it take for me to get a black belt?
It all depends on your work ethic. You know, you know, the one parent that spoke, her oldest son that graduated Morehouse, he called me to pin him, but he said that he needed me to pin him, but really, he pinned me. He pinned me, and he got his black belt in 5 years because he had challenges. So if I showed him something, he would go home and he would not leave the basement until he almost perfected it. So he got his black belt in 5 years. Do most people get their black belt in 5 years? No, because along the journey you realize it's not necessarily just about the belt. And you know, I remember I used to have an advertisement in the movie theater when it used to be Sunrise. I paid a lot of money, so every time you went to see a movie, you'd see Jeff Hunt, Shotokan, karate.
Nice.
It cost me big money.
Ooh,
right?
I bet.
So the guys, he saw me working with some of my guys, and he said to me, I was so inspired by what you did. I went and I joined the black belt program. I said, what does that mean? He said, I got a black belt. I said, what does that mean? I trained at a school and I got a black belt in 3 years. I said, so you're a black belt? He says, yeah. I said, why don't you come down on Sunday and train with me and three of my other training partners?
Uh-oh.
And he started shaking.
Uh-oh.
And he started shaking. And he's like, well, anybody can buy a black belt. It's a difference when you earn it. And as time goes on, the way the generations are, people are not as disciplined, they're softer. The time that I came up training, the world was different, the world was hard. So one of the things that makes me still valuable is I've learned to find a balance, but they still earn it. So I don't give nothing, because I have a student that I used to train, the older brother trained with a gentleman that I know, and he got in one fight, and he got his behind whipped. And the father took the black belt back to the instructor and said, here's your black belt, because it didn't work. Now, I'll tell you another story. I have a kid named Caleb. Caleb left me because his mother and father, they were going through some stuff. So she took him out to Long Island. She signed him up in the school. It didn't work. This kid is not a straight A student. He's a gifted student. He's above A's. He's very, very smart. So the mother calls me. She's a nurse, and she says, I want to bring him back. I said, well, you kind of hurt my feelings when you left. You just abruptly took him away. You didn't really give reason. And why do you want to bring back? She started crying on the phone. She said he got in a fight. And the first thing she asked the principal was, is he okay? She said, is he okay? She said, let me ask you a question. Does he train in any type of defense or anything? Oh yeah, he went to a school in Queens and has a purple belt. He said the bully of the school, now he's a slim guy like you and you, he's slim, right? And the bully was a big dude. And he said, the way he punched and kicked and took this kid apart, you knew he trained in something. I said, he's in trouble? No, it needed to happen because this kid was beating up everybody in school and he just picked the wrong one. And that was a turning point to her in terms of the value of exactly what I do. I said, yeah, we encourage him to do good in school, but at the end of the day, we going home. We're gonna go inside of our house. We're gonna make it back to our house. And I said, you hurt my feelings. And I said, my price is different now. It's not the same as it was. It's almost $130 more. I'll pay it. The value.
It's worth it.
The value. And he's back now, and he's back, and he's flourishing. And we don't train anybody beating anybody up. But God has blessed us to take care of ourselves. We just recently met. You automatically become family to me. You ain't just you family. We connected, y'all family. I would never want anything to happen to you. So if you said, I need to learn some self-defense, I'm gonna give you what you need, because I don't want nothing to happen to you. It's automatic. That's just automatic how it is. So that's how I am. I'm just.
And I love that. And honestly, I'm looking forward to these lessons, because you say that, I'm going to take your word for it. I'm like, I need to get my self-defense on, get my forms right, Sensei?
Let me know.
So I want to end this off with, do you have a quote or affirmation that you have your students say in each class? I want to talk more about that. What is it that you have them say in each class?
Well, the most recent thing that I've done, because I still read and I still do different forms of leadership. And I do my research. So one of the things that I used to do when I was in college and I worked and went to school was I'd have these posters in my room, and it would say, being successful, dressing successful, talking successful, looking successful, sleeping successful, walking successful. So I would say these things. So one day my mother said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm affirming myself." So we have our affirmations, I'm gonna tell you. But recently, if any one of the kids walked inside, right? And let's say you just walked in my dojo, and I even say hello to you. And I said to you, "What did you say?" You know what the kid would yell out?
What?
"I love myself." I love myself. Because think about it. Think about your college days. Think about your high school days. If you walked in the mirror in the bathroom and two girls were beside you and you started messing with your hair and saying, "Boy, I love myself," what would they have called you?
Vain.
Vain,
Self-absorbed,
conceited, right? We don't affirm each other. We don't say nice things to each other. So the parent that spoke about her child in the program at Cohen Center that day concerning his sickle cell, these folks already have their own idea what karate is supposed to be. And when he said, and I just went like you, I just put my hand on his shoulder and said, "What'd you say?" And he just yelled out, "I love myself." This kid got a standing ovation because they wanted me to do a presentation the way they wanted me to do a presentation. And I did it the way the presentation is supposed to be. I told them what the stars were. I told them what the patches were for. Because we ain't just teaching them how to kick and punch. We teaching them to be a better person, to be an educated person. And I'll be honest with you, DJ, I had the person that was running the program, I told her to shut the music off. She said, "We ain't got time." I said, "Well, then I'm gonna stand right until you do." Because the message of what I do has to be transferred. And a gentleman said hello to me and walked in. He my next door neighbor around the corner with his son. He said, "I didn't know you do karate. I didn't know that's what you do." You gotta be special. We as karate instructors have a responsibility, not just to teach karate, but to make them believe in themselves and make them better people, even adults, even women. A lot of the conversations that I've had with a lot of the younger women is you gotta know your power. You're the one that makes all the different decisions. You have to hold on to your power. And I've had people come in my office cry. I've had two nurses. One is an officer in the Army. She's an officer and a nurse. She graduated Malloy. I have another nurse that's at Manhasset. And they both did the same thing. When it came time for their finals and their state boards, they came in my office, they got in a chair and they curled up like babies crying because of the stress. And I encouraged them, and they're both nurses now. You can't put they'll never forget that. They'll never forget those things. So, you know, because of what I do, it opens up a variety for me to communicate with people in a totally different way. And at the end of the day, it's just encouragement and affirmation. My patch, if you see my patch, it says, Jeff Hunt, Traditional Shotokan Karate, self-discipline, self-defense, empowerment, enrichment, since 1981.
And that's what it's about.
That's why I started doing it. I can encourage. Now, the mantras, we have 2 mantras. One is for character development. We repeat, by God's grace, because I believe everything that I get is by the grace of God. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I will seek perfection of character. That means every day you wake up, you got to try to be a better person. Be sincere and honest. Don't lie. Now, with the babies, I tell the babies not to lie. But to the adults, I tell them, look in the mirror. Don't lie to yourself. Show strong spirit. Life is about passion. Embrace your life with passion. Look at everything as the best way you can in a bright light, because it makes it better for you to accept different things that become challenging. Practice courtesy. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And last but not least, control my temper. Don't get anybody to get you out of your pocket. Try to hold on. Try to hold on. Try not to react. So they repeat that for their character development. And these are the fundamental things. But I take it a step further. They repeat, as a student of karate, I learned to listen, focus, pay attention, and have self-control. I've had people sign up just from hearing that statement. Because when you tell a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old to listen better, to focus better, to pay attention, and to have self-control, that's priceless. And I tell them, if you don't know how to listen, focus, pay attention, have self-control, I can't teach you karate. If you don't know how to listen, focus, and pay attention, and have self-control, you can't learn in school. And if you're grown like me, and you don't know how to listen, focus, pay attention, have self-control, your life's gonna be bumpy. What kind of life you want? A bumpy one or smooth? And everyone says smooth. So these are the things that you try to encourage them with. And you know, do they always get it right the first time around? No. If they're still being challenged and they're not attacking their challenge, the responsibility goes even a step further. If they're ready to get promoted, their parents have to approve their promotion. And when they get promoted, their parents have to say a public affirmation in front of everybody to encourage their child. Most karate schools, they give them a piece of paper, they give them a belt, and they shoot them on their way. We make the parent a part of what they're doing. And that's where most of my success has come, because the parents and we co-train them together. Because you let me know what's going on at home, you know what's going on in the dojo, what's going on in the dojo better be duplicated at home.
I love that. I love how involved you have the parents, because I feel like that's definitely important. I like how you said it best, co-training together, you and the parents. Because I feel like that they need that. And even with kids that, you know, you mentioned earlier, some kids came up to you saying like, oh, I didn't have that discipline growing up or whatever, and it's like you gave that to them. So
you heard what that man said when he said, that's what started me crying. When you heard him say, I wish I had somebody to do, that one killed me. That one floored me. Right. I wish I had somebody to do for me what he does to my children. And we've had extensive conversations. I've encouraged him on extensive things. And he's a grown, handsome dude, you know, and that one was, yeah, that was deep when he said that to me. When another man affirms another man the way he did, I mean, I appreciate what everybody said. And I hear it all the time, and they say things to me all the time, and I need to be encouraged too sometimes, because sometimes everybody dumps on me. You know, like, you know, people that do psychology, you know, you're supposed to have another psychologist above you to dump on them. And My thing is I take breaks. The trips that we've taken, the places they go, I need peace, and I don't go away and party. I go away and just enjoy another part of the world and relax.
Hey everyone, it's DJ with Mad Media TV, and I'm here at Sensei Jeff Hunt's traditional Shotokan karate and kickboxing school. Now, this school is more than just a martial arts school. It's transformative, a literal life changer. And Sensei Jeff has been changing lives for the better for many, many years. But don't just take my word for it, listen to what everyone else has to say.
How you doing? My name is Angelo. I have 2 children that attend Jeff Hunt's Shotokan Karate here in Southeast Queens. One of the best dojos, I would say, in all of the boroughs, not just Queens. My daughter's been going here for 2 years now, and my son has been here for he's started doing classes for 3 months. Jeff is somebody that we love. He is family. A lot of the times, growing up, you would hear the elders talk about how important it is to have a village to make a powerful impact on your children. And I'm so grateful, my wife and I, to have him in our lives. I don't think words could sum the amount of appreciation that we have for him. It's more than just learning karate. It's the discipline that's instilled in our children. Just talking about him gets me emotional, because besides the strong men that I have in my family, I wish I had someone like him growing up. So I'm grateful for allowing our kids to be fearless. I'm grateful for the education that he instills in our children every day. And he makes it hard for us to want to move, because we always say, what about Jeff? And that's just coming from the heart. That's it.
My name is Eden and Neo, and we have been coming to Sensei's class, Jeff's Shotokan karate class, for a little over 2 years. We have a 7-year-old girl and we have a 5-year-old boy. The impact that this class has had on us as parents, on our individual children, is immeasurable. As you can see, I get choked up thinking about it, primarily because when children are given direction, there's no telling what impact they can have in the world. Our children came into this class not knowing what they were walking into. Neither did we. But every day, this class is opened up with a prayer, and there are immeasurable, valuable gems, as said before, that are given in this class. Our kids have become more confident. They are curious. They understand the value of discipline in a different way. As my husband had said previous, we do consider, when we think about relocating, how much of an impact this class has made on our children and on ourselves. We've seen other classes, we visited other classes prior to coming here. This is not just a class. This is really a holistic experience. He affects the parents. There's lessons for the parents before the class. There's lessons for the students. And the fact that he's just a holistic person. He works on the mind, he works on the spirit, he works on the body, and the value that has for us, it just can't be calculated. So it's not some place that you come just because you want your kids to get some self-defense. It's really a place that you come if you want to build the character of your children, and if you really want to prepare your children for the future, because there's a lot of temptation and there's a lot of effort to take our children, to take control of our children. And what happens in this dojo, repels that every day. So what I can say overall is this class has been something that we can't calculate the value, and we're truly grateful for as a family, and our children look forward to, no matter how they're feeling, no matter what they're going through.
Hey, I'm here at Jeff Hunt School of Martial Arts. My son's been here for about 3 months now, and words can't express, what Jeff has done for, my son and my family. At first, I gotta admit, I wasn't, because Demir's my baby. So when his mom told me about entering him in a karate school, I was a little on the fence. But that changed completely my first day here, listening to how he interact with the kids, how he instill in them his discipline methods, his daily prayers, his karate, his technique, how he gets them to focus. So all of that got me hooked, and I've been here with him every day since. So initially we got Demir started into, karate because he had this game addiction, I'm sure you're aware of, called Fortnite. He's been on it a little too much to my, liking. So we talked to Sensei. Sensei devised a plan for us, and he executed that plan with us. And till this current date, we no longer have a game addiction problem. Along with other, key things that he instilled into Demir. I would say Sensei is a blessing from God himself, because I don't even know how to sum up what he's done, like put it in this short interview of what he's done for our son. And as a parent, you start to notice the little things too. Like when you would tell, as a parent, you would tell your kid to clean your room, or, you would have to tell them about 5-6 times. Now after 3 months, 1, maybe 2, and the focus level of whatever he's doing, his task, is precise, is accurate. And you start to notice those things after a while, and you can appreciate them as a parent as well. I've been watching Demir grow from day one, very, very fast. And it's been a pleasure, and I would wholeheartedly recommend anybody that would like to take his class. You definitely won't regret it. And my 8-month-old son, hopefully when he gets to the age, he'll be attending this class as well. God bless you. That's it.
Hi, my name is Shalom, and my son Zane McLean is a current student of Sensei Hunt, and we are so grateful to be a part of this dojo. My son, as most of you know, is on the spectrum, and there were times where we believed that he would not be able to achieve certain things and accomplish certain goals that we have set for him. But with the current guidance that we have and positive attitude and just continuous support from Sensei Hunt, we were able to move from private lessons to being integrated into the regular class setting of the Little Tiger League. And now Zane is a orange belt, and this would not have been possible without this amazing human being. And there are times when we were at our low and we just felt like giving up. And I remember one thing Sensei said to me: do not give up unless I tell you to. And this demeanor, this positive attitude, and just this need or this drive to help children and to help families is just an amazing thing, and we are so grateful. And he came highly recommended from friends, family, and strangers that we are just having conversations about my son being in karate and all the amazing things that he's doing. And they asked, where does your son go to karate? And the moment I bring up Jeff Hunt's name, their kids were also past students of Mr. Hunt, and so that just speaks a lot about this individual, and we are just so grateful to be a part of this dojo. We will continue to be a part of this dojo, and my future kids will be a part of this dojo. Thank you so much, Mr. Hunt, for everything that you do, and I pray to God that God continue to bless you so that you can continue to make positive strides in our lives and in your students' lives. Thank you.
In the month of October, the Jeff Hunt Traditional Shotokan Karate School will be hosting an open house. Make sure you contact the school for further information.
Stop posing. Stop looking so happy, girl.
Karate school and kickboxing school, and where he teaches you.
And punch. Right hand fold up. Step back, touch toes. Turn around.
We have no choice but to get it. Thank goodness it's not loud.
Don't be here. Don't be here. Keep it slow. Go. Good. Harder. I need a ladder. Yeah. Go. Turn your body. Go. Yes, sir. Have a seat. 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 Go. Go.